The story's out there.
Islam, one of the fastest growing religions in America, 1,209 mosques.
No 30-second sound bites.
Like all other faith traditions, America means home to 7 million Muslims. Las Vegas,
Michigan,
Chicago,
Houston,
Boston,
uncut, the whole thing.
Detroit,
Iowa,
Virginia,
Montana,
San Francisco,
Tennessee,
New York City,
Los Angeles,
Washington, D.C. Experience the independent voices of American Muslims. Muslims America. For the past few days, we've been roaming the streets of Tampa, Florida, spending time with a group of Muslim women from Piedad. Piedad is helping to uplift the lives of Tampa's Muslim community and working with members of other faith groups. Today's our last day in Tampa, and we thought we should show you something unusual that we first saw when we came here. This pretty much looks like a mosque, but it's actually the University of Tampa. Previously known as the Tampa Bay Hotel, the architecture is a mix of Russian and Turkish, a symbol of the city and its history. But the reason why I'm here is because I wanted to ask Khadija Rivera of Piedad, what's making people convert or revert to Islam?
What do you think is the reason why so many people are coming to Islam, despite the fact that there's so much of negativity about Islam in the world today?
That's a very good question. I remember when 9/11 happened, that was a very bad period for us. I remember living in Miami, people spitting at me because I wore hijab. People told me to take it off, to take off my veil, and I would be safer in the streets. But at the same time, it made me stronger as a Muslim. And while it made me stronger as a Muslim, I was able to go out there and be more vocal about Islam because I felt that was my job, to demystify Islam. So we became more, more, how can I say, more
empowered,
pressing, more empowered, more like justified that we had to go out there. And I definitely know that we got a voice. And this voice is being reached everywhere because we're saying, this has touched my heart. Islam has touched my heart. Muslims have touched my heart. Islam is perfection. Muslims are not perfect. We have, like we said, free will. We have good and bad. But I do know that Islam is perfect. And I know that no matter what people can say about Islam, I'm not going to say it's my job to defend it, but I can tell you that to me it is perfect because it is a way of life, a way that I want to live, and a way that I want to have in the hereafter.
And what about the critics? The critics who argue that women are facing a lot of problems in Islam. They don't have any rights. They're treated as second-class citizens within their own faith community, and they're under a lot of pressure.
Well, and I'll take for example things that happen, and it's more culturally based again, but some things that happen such as the honor killings, and then they attribute that to being Islamic. No, that's not Islam. It's not Islam by any way, shape, or form. It's a cultural thing that happens in certain cultures. That's not a general, it's not accepted by any means in Islam. But then, one time my sister forwarded me an email saying, oh, did you see this honor killing in Toronto that happened among a Dacey family? And I sent her an email back and I said, have you watched your news last night? How many wives were killed at the hands of their husbands in America? Every day you turn on the TV, women are murdered by their husbands. And this is a nightly thing, women missing, pregnant women missing, or murdered, brutally murdered at the hands of their husbands. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in all, races, all cultures, all religions. It's gonna happen. It's not happening because of the religion. It's the person that's doing it, and they have to take responsibility for that.
How can we convince the rest of the world that it is a perfect faith for you? I mean, I'm not talking about converting people. I'm just talking about just to give them information that with Muslims you have nothing to be afraid of.
I think that they have to see the peace in it. I think that when I first walked into a mosque, a real mosque, a real practicing Sunni mosque, I felt so elated. I felt like I had stepped foot in a cloud because the serenity in the room, the beauty of the people praying to one God, everybody in the same direction at the same time, and knowing that all over the world, in the 24-hour period, people are praying towards Mecca, and Mecca is just a location, but in reality, it's just a focal point. There's nothing in there. People think, oh, it must be like a holy place where there's statues. There's nothing there. But it was so beautiful to know that all these prayers at 24 hours a day are being given to God to worship Him. I feel that they have to understand that Islam is a religion of peace and beautiful, and it helps you in your soul, it helps you with your family, with your dealings on your job. You always strive for perfection in whatever you do. This to me is real Islam. This to me is peace, serenity, and submission to God.
Do you think that it's also the responsibility of other people to go and find out the truth?
Yes, yes. It's like everything in life, you have to look and seek. You have to research it and look at it. Islam itself is open. You can go into any mosque and ask questions, but you should also not fear the Muslim. And people who fear the Muslim, it's because they have never been in touch with a practicing Muslim. Because once you sit down with a practicing Muslim and you see their love of God and their love of creation and nature, you can see someone who is peaceful. I think that people need to ask questions. When you see a Muslim, you see a hijabi, or you see somebody with a kufi, say, hi, good morning, how was your day? And you'll see that they'll quickly respond and talk to you.
Lots of things are happening today. Luckily, on our last day in Tampa, Khatija Rivera and Jill Murida, along with their other friends and family, are celebrating the wedding of their friend Esperanza. Esperanza is getting married with Habib. Habib is from Morocco. Esperanza is from Tampa. And their love story was a coincidence. And it all began over the internet. But we'll get into that a little later. But before the wedding, Khatija and Jill have to do some quick chores. They're helping their friend Esperanza in the wedding with whatever they can. They need to pick the food, some of the groceries, and the couple needs to get their stuff out of the car too and get dressed for the big event. And remember some time back we talked about Khatija also teaching English to Burmese immigrant children? Of course, the Burmese kids, they need to be picked up too.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thank you.
And the kids showed us how much they've learned.
1, 2, 3, go.
Are you sleepy? Are you sleepy? Brother John, Brother John. Wedding bells are ringing, wedding bells are ringing. Ding dong ding, ding dong ding.
Allah Akbar.
There's an American, all-American woman behind the whale.
Allah Akbar.
To me, the reason that we wear hijab is so that people don't try to measure us up to someone else.
Do you think people ought to look at the woman behind the hijab, that behind this hijab there is a social worker, there's a community leader, there's a mother, there's an American, all-American woman behind the veil?
Absolutely. I mean, actually, to me, the reason that we wear hijab is so that people don't try to measure us up to someone else, but rather on what we can do or what we are doing for our community or our family or our Islamic center. I mean, it's very important that all of us participate in the mosque, to participate as good citizens, to participate with our children. We are a multiplicity of things, you know, so we have to be never ending just a Muslim woman, but really understanding that we are a woman, but we happen to be Muslim, or happen to be Hispanic, or African American, or Caucasian, but that we really, really, truly are just women. God made us, and we have work on this earth, you know, and we have fulfillment from this work.
There in the answer 5
Pina colada.
Is that halal?
Somebody once said to me, "We fear what we do not know, and once you get to know it, you don't fear it anymore." Like our own inhibitions.
You know, I've been hanging out with you people, with you women of Islam, and you know, with the sisters and the brothers here, and I don't find anything threatening.
No.
Then, then why are people so scared of this?
There are disgruntled people everywhere, and I happen to be with an African American and a young girl whose father had been in the military, and she was disgruntled. And there are people in America that don't agree with the government, and she happened to say something. Well, with me being the Muslim, and I was covered, and they even asked, why do we all dress this way? Why? And I said, for the same reason. You're dressed the way that you are and who you are. You're looking at television and not thinking, because we're only people. I'm talking to you, and you see no difference except that I'm covered differently than you are. But the woman next to you is American and white, and she's dressed differently than you. What it is that we have to think of each other as people.
What is it that makes the Muslims in America, be it Caucasian Muslims, Latino Muslims, African American Muslims, those Muslims in America, what makes them so different from Muslims in other parts of the world?
I think first of all, we are American Muslims. But I think it's very important to understand that our cultural baggage is not carried over because we don't have it. See, I feel that in many countries, they carry a lot of the culture into the religion. Whereas in America, we can just read the books, the hadith, we can read the Quran, we can read, you know, fiqh, we can read all the books that we want. We have this vast library from the internet or from Islamic centers, but we can just read them and take them for what they're worth, you know, which is the reality, rather than hand-me-downs from other people. So that when we practice Islam, we truly strive, I'm not saying that we reach that, but we strive to perfect it. I think it's very important that people understand that we are still American, you know, American people, men or women.
All American.
That's right, that's right.
And as we were getting the food for the wedding, a friend from a local Tampa restaurant said that for him, America is like a gigantic canvas where everybody gets a fair chance to paint their own portrait of hope and prosperity. And for him, this is America's biggest contribution to humanity.
What does America mean to you?
It's my home country, and as a Muslim, I have to respect where I'm from. It's what gave me my way of being. It's helped support it in my life, my livelihood. So it is where I'm from. It's part of who I am, the makeup of who I am. But being Muslim supersedes all of that. But this is what I have to respect in regards to who I am and what's been given to me from the land here.
As an American Muslim woman, what does America mean to you?
I love America. It's my country. I was born in Puerto Rico, but this is my country and I love it. It is so diverse. And being a Muslim here is just, like, to me, a form of worship, you know. It's like every day when I get up and I see a palm tree, I thank God for it, or a bird. I really listen to the birds, you know, chirping like I do right now.
Natural music.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. And I just feel I've gone to 5 continents. I've traveled a lot, I've seen a lot, I've done things, but the reality is this is my country, and I want to continue being a strong Muslim and spread the word of Islam to my sisters who want to know about Islam, because I'm not a preacher per se that goes out in the street and talks to people and knock on doors. I am here. If you have questions, I'm here. But I think people should be readily, every single person should be readily able and how can I say, open-minded to learn about Islam and to ask questions. If you're not sure about it, don't think we're terrorists. Don't think of us as bad people. We're just regular American people walking down the street who practice our faith is on God. Our convictions are about not doing harm to other people, but helping other people. I think we are people of very strong faith.
What would be your message to people of other faiths?
to give Islam a chance. Just because I'm Muslim, you're Christian, you know, you don't have to come at me and, you know, like you want to convert me. You can come at me to understand me. You know, you can come talk to me to understand me. I'm not, you know, I'll give you the message, you can give me your message. It's not a debate, you know. It's like we have to have kind of unilateral type talks as opposed to, you know, debating or saying, you know, I'm right, you're wrong, anything like that. More or less just to understand each other more. That's the first step in, you know, having any sort of relationship between, you know, the Christian Muslims and Jews. We try to do interfaith activities and stuff so that we can have a more united front. And it's been somewhat successful. You know, a couple of the religions participate more than another one, but inshallah, you know, we'll be able to bring that all together and keep developing our relationships, and, you know, interreligiously.
What would you want to say to millions of Muslim women watching you?
Now, the only thing that I have for Muslim women to me is that as women, the way that I was raised, my dad in Al-Baqarah, I believe there's an ayah that says to raise your daughters as you did your son, and I believe that's what he did because he made me very independent. And I was never raised to just take his word or an imam's word, even though it's the truth, to whatever they say, that it is for us to read too. And I think that, in my opinion, and that I also get off my mom, that if we were to do that more, then we would be able to help with what's going on in our own situations and be the support as well that we should be for our Muslim brothers and husbands and sons and things. That's how I see it, because I know that man can be oppressive, but Islam is the one thing, and this is not because just that I'm Muslim, because I'm telling you, I was born Muslim, but I've done other things. But in studying and looking at life, that taking on that, what Allah has given us is what would actually give us the strength, and we wouldn't feel so down to the man. I know years ago in watching what was happening to women, not only what was with Afghanistan and Pakistan and things, but with the Kosovo things, what happened with the women can't be, you know, as simple as saying, well, if you know Islam or something, but to look to that and learn after that.
Allah Akbar.
So what you're saying is that even if you're born in Islam, you still got to go out and find it.
Allah Akbar.
We're not less knowledgeable in Islam because we've gone personally with the intentions to seek knowledge.
What would you want to say to millions of Muslim women watching you all around the world?
The Muslim women here, a lot of us are converts. We take Islam very, very seriously. We're not less knowledgeable in Islam because we've gone personally with the intentions to seek knowledge. We weren't born to it, therefore we had to seek it ourselves and become educated very, you know, in depth to be able to, you know, have a knowledge of what it is that we love so much. We can't say we love this, you know, oh, I love Islam so much, but we don't know anything about it. You know, it's our mission and duty as Muslims to continuously seek education. So we're not without knowledge about what it is that we're doing. We're extremely knowledgeable. We may not all speak Arabic, but we know what it is that we're following. We see it here in the masjid a lot of times. The Pakistani sisters will stay with the Pakistani sisters. The Arab sisters will stay with the Arab sisters. The convert sisters are with the convert sisters. We have Arabs in our group. In Piedad, we have Arab sisters, we have Palestinian sisters, we have Indian sisters. We kind of invite, even though it's geared towards us for support, we also know that we can benefit from the knowledge of the other sisters. So we try to be a little community within the community, but not apart from the community.
So what you're saying is that even if you're born in Islam, you still got to go out and find it.
Who are we that we're not going to be tested? We're creatures of Allah and we're here to serve Him. So in that servitude, we have to do whatever is required by what He gives in the Quran and by the way that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ lived, and we have to go out in regards to that. We have to do. It doesn't just come because we say that we are. I'm just praying for all of us, actually. Those that are Muslim, those that are not.
coming back to the celebration, now is the time to set the wedding stage. Fix the food tables. Esperanza and Habib's love story is something like love on the first click. You know, like the internet click?
Researching my last name, trying to find out my history, and I realized that it turned out to be a city in Morocco. So I went on MySpace and I made some friends all over Morocco, and he happened to be one of them. And I found his background to be really interesting, so I asked him, is this your house or is this a restaurant? And he responded, this is a restaurant in another city, Essaouira. So we just started talking from there, and next thing you know, I'm flying to Morocco. Yeah.
Habib told me it was a little different for him getting married like this in a mosque, because in Morocco, people usually get married in their homes, but he's still loving it. Of course, he's the groom.
Oh, please be quiet, the bride is coming.
And there's the bride. Esperanza's family and friends are all here. After a long cross commute between Morocco and America, finally, the couple's moment is here. Waiting for the Imam to pronounce them husband and wife. That's what they're waiting for, and here it comes. And here's the build-up to the wedding vows.
I,
I,
name your name.
Esperanza Arcela,
Give myself
myself,
to you.
to you,
His name.
Habib Al-Rish,
Marriage,
in marriage,
I am Habib.
accept
Accept.
to marry you
Marry you.
according
According
to the Quran
to the Quran
and the Sunnah
and Sunnah.
of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
And God's love faithful and true, seasons change to start anew, coloring memories along life's trail. May faith and hope, presence prevail.
We walk the path of life.
One thing is for sure, whatever that I've learned from these American Muslim women of Tampa will stay with me for the rest of my life. But I do hope that you were able to see a lot more than I could. And from the midst of this international celebration, for Muslims America, I'm Imran Siddiqui.